What is up, everybody? Welcome to our House of the Dragon premiere review. We are breaking down our top moments, our top takeaways, our grays. Joining us, as always, Amanda at MXNDA Reviews. What's up, Amanda?
I am so hyped right now. That was such a bomb premiere, and I am so excited to talk about it. I turned my lights red, so it's going down. I'm excited.
Whew. All right, where do we start? Let's just jump into like general impressions. This is a spoiler review of episode 1, The Heirs of the Dragon. I can't believe we're here. I go from like just general impressions from the jump, where you get the Game of Thrones theme, from the jump. You're flying through the air. You hear like the House Targaryen score, and like that was like weirdly nostalgic for me. I don't know about you, Amanda, but like
Same.
that was pretty emotional. I wish we were doing a watch party because that first like 5 minutes was like, we're back. We're back.
I know.
We're back in Westeros. And that was an amazing, amazing feeling. I have a lot to kind of talk about in this premiere. But what I think I'm so excited about with this show is the bones of it is Game of Thrones, top to bottom, like the politics, the family, like, there's a lot of like blood, pun intended, from Game of Thrones that you can see in House of the Dragon. The backstabbing is already in place. It's gonna be a ton of fun. And what was some of your impressions here?
I was blown away by it. I think that there's so much hype. Literally, yes, let's go, Chris, for sure. Like there was just so much hype the entire day. We're counting it down with HBO Max. Like it just felt like we were back, as you said. And it's a great feeling when you're watching it together with everyone. And that's why like we're so blessed to do these live streams right after to talk about it because we can. But you nailed it, Dives. It felt like we did go back to Westeros. Everything was there. I felt like the pacing was really strong because, each character was introduced quite nicely. It wasn't like forced or like we had to present these peoples. I know everything just flowed. I thought it was a fantastic premiere. It really sets the tone for the rest of the season with these character arcs, who's connected to who. But yeah, I'm just so happy with it. I'm also very surprised the fact that like they can still surprise you, like, and it's a prequel and we've seen everything with Game of Thrones. Like it was just so well done. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Me too. Amanda, like I love Game of Thrones so much. And part of me in like the back of my head, I haven't read the books. I never read the book here. So I'm going into this blind and I plan to continue doing that. But I'm so happy that they got, the writing correct. They got the acting correct. They've got the characters correct. I think like I'm already ready to make like a power rankings of the top characters. We got introduced to Daemon. We've got introduced to Rhaenyra. Let's talk about some of these characters, but first let's go into some comments. Chris Coyle says, "Let's go." Dale was in the house saying episode 1 was hot AF. Fire AF. Also, finally, someone died quicker than Ned Stark. Nicole says, "Woohoo! It was amazing. People are already dying. Got to see the Baratheons and Starks early on."
I squealed. I heard their names. I'm like, this is so great.
Yeah, I think what I don't know. Where are you with? Let's start off with Rhaenyra. Let's start with Rhaenyra. Clearly, she's like kind of the I don't know, heart and soul of this show so far. That I think it's going to be building towards. She's clearly thrown into a position where she's now the heir of the Iron Throne. I got major Arya vibes from her. Like she clearly did, like from the jump in this episode. She's talking to her mom who's pregnant on a bench, and she's like, I don't want any of that. I would rather be exploring, adventuring, going out into Westeros, and that screamed Arya to me, and that made me smile. And did you get Arya vibes?
I got Arya vibes, but then at the same time, she's been conditioned to to think that way at the same time. Like she's the woman, she'll never be heir to the throne. It's like
Yeah,
that's like already out of her head. She wouldn't think of it.
yeah.
So I feel like she had to feel that way, but I did get Arya vibes with that. It's just it's really cool to see like the first half of this episode and like the second half of this episode and watch her like even have so much development within
Mm.
this first hour. But yeah, that's what really, really just interested me the most because she had to repress those feelings, like especially with her father. Like she obviously knows that he's always wanted a son and he's like stuck with her. So like, that's
Uh,
a complex that she has to like dissect too in this series. But it was just so cool to see that contrast.
it was awesome. She's awesome. That's
Yeah.
I think the show is gonna, for the bulk, at least I think, is gonna follow her, and see what happens there. And then we got introduced to Daemon Targaryen, who was, I thought heading into this was going to be pure villain. I
Yeah.
didn't get that sense,
No.
at least on my end. And I think what I'm so excited about is this show is going to do exactly what Game of Thrones did so well, is not paint, other than Joffrey, of course, like one character to one side. It's going to explore that gray area of, he might be a villain, but he's going to give us something fun. He's going to give us some light moments.
Yeah.
He's going to give us some good moments. Just because he might be a bad guy doesn't mean his intentions are purely bad. And yeah, so Daemon Targaryen is pretty much, I guess, runs the City Watch. We after watching like Game of Thrones and seeing so much turmoil and like uprisings from the people and things like that, like I kind of had a soft spot for Daemon, and he has some sort of compassion. He has some sort of level of mercy. Like I thought for sure when he lost that jousting match or whatever you want to call it, like he was gonna just find another sword and take that guy down, and he didn't.
Yeah.
There was respect in this character, and like just like a big chunk of this show, which I'm so happy about, is I think they're getting the characters right, and Daemon's like on the top of the list. Is that he's probably going to end up being bad to get the Iron Throne,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of siding with him already. What's your take?
The first time that I saw Daemon, first of all, Matt Smith, like the roles that he's been choosing, like post Doctor Who, I'm really vibing. Forget about Morbius. I'm not gonna like even talk about that. But the roles that he has been choosing, I'm really like I'm excited for him. He's fantastic in this. Within like first 5 seconds of seeing him on screen with Rhaenyra, I was like, I'm sold. This man is stealing the spotlight. He's fantastic. But with him, with Daemon, which is so cool that you said that there's a balance between him being a respectable person and having that compassion and siding with him. When I saw that he was just so kind to Rhaenyra and that it's like an uncle and niece relationship like that, there's no way that he's all that bad. And I like that they set that up in the first couple of moments that we see him. But yeah, he's going to be a very layered character. Even that one scene in the brothel after they were talking, he felt really sad. He's like, I can't perform, whatever, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then the girl's like literally giving him all these titles and who he is, like as a reminder. So he's battling with that too. And this is just the first episode, guys.
Yeah.
It's the first episode. And we're like, oh my God, it's already like complex and layered. But kudos to Matt Smith. I love him.
I'm in on Damon's character. Daryl Mitchell says very good episode. Tyler says love the precedent that they're setting so early in the series, naming a female heir, and the violence action setting the tone all in episode 1. Dale says my dude Daemon looked like he stepped out of a Twilight movie, but the House of Targaryens were always known for keeping it in the family. Rhaenyra Targaryen closely resembles Dany. Also, how cool is it to cut the beginning slide out of the show simply 122 years before Daenerys? That was awesome. Like I started off the show like that beginning, like 2 to 5 minutes of the show, like I was tearing up. That was so nostalgic. It was. I love that they kept the score from previous Game of Thrones, like the Targaryen score and different things like that, in check. I'm really happy about that decision.
Same.
Yeah, Daemon. like you said, complex characters. From the jump, getting complex characters. That moment when King Varsarion was talking to Damon about like why he will never be the heir to the throne. Like, I believed Damon when he was like, "I got your back." Like, you're choosing Otto, who almost had like a little finger about him a little bit. Yeah. Like, I don't trust Otto whatsoever. He might be a good man. I don't know. I don't know yet. I think the jury is still out on Otto Hightower, because that guy seemed a little finger to me. I don't trust him one bit.
Yeah, I don't trust him either. Especially after what he did with Allison. I'm like, I don't like you, man. I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, man. Luke says, "What's going on, everyone?" Thanks for joining, Luke. Dale says, "I cringed when they cut the guys off." I was like, man, the City Watch is going all in. I don't blame him, though. I do not blame Damon whatsoever for, trying to rule with fear, given how things can go so south so fast.
Yeah.
in Westeros, man. I kind of respect that. I think that's someone who truly understands. I think that's the point of this. It is that's what makes Game of Thrones so fun, is like, I think King Viserion is probably a great guy, but is he a great king? I think people clearly, and Damon pointed that out, did he not? Like, they're already, they've got the swords pointed at you. Like, the second your son died, you saw them all clear that festival of jousting or whatever. Like, the game began the second the son and the mother died. I thought that was really interesting.
And that, like, oh my God, that line when he said it, I'm like, y'all went too far. This is like, that's too far. I couldn't believe that was said. But that last, I want to say, like, the 20 minutes, this scene with the jousting and then editing to the birth.
That was awesome.
I was sweating. Literally sweating. I didn't know, like, when they were gonna cut back and, like, the camera work and all of that. I was just like, what is happening? You're seeing two different characters going through something. It's just so entirely brutal. And then you're just seeing that everything's fine on the outside, and they're like, it's a jousting match, it's a game, we're gonna, like, have fun. And then she's just, it was hard to watch. That was hard to watch. I'm happy they edited back and forth, because, like, damn.
Dale says there's no love for the Vale in any of Westeros. That is a fact. I mean, they were ripping the Vale. Let's go into best moments. That was by far the best moment, was the pregnancy scene where they're literally ripping the boy out of her, and then you find out. Then you have the funeral, and you find out the boy never lived. I was watching with Nicole, and she's like to the side of me. She's been through the whole pregnancy thing, and she was just like holding a pillow, like that was uncomfortable for me. I can't even imagine. That was a hard. I think that, again, going back to why this show is getting it right on all fronts, is that this show is a tragedy. Game of Thrones is a tragedy. There's no winning in Game of Thrones. It's the game. So that's What was your favorite moment?
Honestly, that was intense. I think, like, on tense level, like, I was just blown away by that. But I really love the scene at the end, with Viserys and his daughter. They were talking about, the dragons and what they mean to them and to the house and all of that. And then he kind of, like, you foreshadow everything that we know, the winter's coming and all of that. Like, that was just such a nice tie-in at the end of that. Just to attach everything. Not that I didn't feel the nostalgia, like, beforehand, but him actually saying that, and then it happens and we saw it for like 10 years. Like, it was a really nice moment, and I was just like cheering them on and everything while he was like talking about it. I was like, I know this, we did this, we saw this. So that was a really strong moment. And then just tying in when, everyone's kneeling in front of her too. I thought that was a really powerful moment for her. She's killing it. Like, I'm really, really excited to see where this goes this season.
Me too. I don't know where this goes. I don't know the source material. I'm interested to see, like, she's clearly got affection towards Daemon. Daemon's out. I'm curious where this series goes. Like, how long is she going to last? we saw Ned Stark, when he was the hand. It didn't last very long. We'll see. We'll see how long she lasts there, because I think people are going to have a big time problem with her being the heir to the throne. That is the story, I think, moving forward.
Women.
Yeah. Again, it's a tragedy. Dale says they killed so many people gruesomely in the list. What else should we talk about? We got introduced to a couple dragons. We got our first glimpse of Cyrax. That is Rhaenyra's dragon. It was yellow. Seemed to be pretty calm. And then on the opposite end of that spectrum was Daemon's dragon, Syraxis. I could be wrong on that.
I think that was the red one, right?
The red dragon.
Yeah, the red dragon.
Yeah.
That looked cool. It felt like it was practical, kind of. Maybe they could have. I don't know if they built something that's like entirely CGI. I'm not 100% sure, but it looked good because he was breathing too. Like, I don't know. I felt like it was somewhat practical.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
All the dragons.
I like the differences between the two dragons. Like, definitely, probably reflects the characters as we'll learn more about them moving forward. Like, Rhaenyra's dragon is much more calm, poised, reserved, whereas Daemon's dragon is probably going to be like much more unpredictable and violent. I think that will probably be what we see from those. Dale says it's going to be interesting to see if they show the White Walkers 172 years before when they first come across the wall. That's definitely going to happen at some point, probably down the road. Also want to see if they show what's going on with the wall with the Watch. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out next week. Like, I don't know how this show is going to work procedurally. Like, or is it going to be like the original Game of Thrones? If I had to guess, it probably will, because there's so much similarities between the shows already. We'll probably maybe get introduced to a few new characters and that moving forward. Anything else you want to talk about before we get into grades?
I think we covered all the bases. We touched upon like the bigger characters and their dynamics, basically. They did introduce all the houses at the end of this, so obviously they're going to dive in to see their position like among Westeros and all of that. So I think that next week they gotta drop something. I agree, the CGI was top notch. I also think going back to like the jousting and everything, I feel like this was way more violent than Game of Thrones. I don't know, they're just showing a lot more, I think, and like there was a lot more blood, a lot more brutal kills in this one. So I'm kind of scared to see what else they're gonna do and how much we're gonna see it. I think it was more so like the thought in Game of Thrones, like for the more brutal kills and like chopping things off and all that stuff. But in this case, it's like they're fully like in your face showing it. So I think that's kind of a big difference for me that I have to stomach. Because, damn.
Yeah. It was everything I wanted. It was everything I wanted. I could not be more happy. For a first episode, I was a little nervous that they would kind of miss the ball in this, but it doesn't seem like that at all. I think grade-wise, I would probably give this a 9 out of 10. I think it was really strong. All my nerves are completely put aside now. I am 100% stoked for episode 2 and where this story is going. What about you?
I'm at a 9 too. I think that they perfectly tied in the nostalgia of Game of Thrones. They brought that in. They patched it together. It wasn't like in your face that they were trying to make those callbacks and connections. It was just really strong. Like I'm impressed. And honestly, I'm just happy that we all get to come together in Westeros again to talk about it, because I think that was just such like the beauty of Game of Thrones week after week on Sundays. So yeah, it just adds to the entire experience.
I can't wait for this. These Sunday reviews are going to be so much fun. We'll be doing these every single Sunday night after it drops, just kind of breaking down the top storylines and things like that. I gotta say, do you have a favorite character so far? Like, who is your number one?
Oh man, honestly, it's Damon. I don't want to
Is
say
it?
it's Damon. I like him. I think he's just gonna be a lot of fun. I love him, and I really like Alicent just because I know Olivia Cook's gonna play her afterwards. I'm liking her character. She's kind of like mysterious, aloof,
Yeah.
and she stays quiet, but she
Yeah.
has her tick. It's like she's digging into her nails and everything. So I'm like, I don't know where that's gonna go. So I'm excited to see more of her.
Yeah, I definitely think Caitlin's in the house. What's going on, Caitlin?
Hey, Caitlin.
Yeah, I think I'll go Damon number one. That scene where he's with his mistress and he just like breaks down and
Yeah.
like I just like those moments where like I don't know he's not perfect. Like he wants to get approval of the king. He wants to be that ear. He wants to do that, but I don't know if he knows how. I don't know. We're gonna get more into this. I can't wait to watch this 3 more times.
Me too. I'm excited.
Yeah, solid 9 out of 10. Do you have any predictions of where this is going?
Oh man, not yet, but I do like I read the synopsis of the season, so I think we're gonna get a very nice like finale battle between two people. I like two sides is all I'm gonna say. I don't know where we're gonna go. I think that Damon's gonna surprise a lot of us. As you said, he's very unpredictable. We don't know what's gonna happen. Certain conversations, he may go to Otto, side with him, even though he hates him, and try to figure out a plan. We don't know. But yeah, it'd be cool to see that.
Yeah, the Otto versus Damon plot is going to be pretty fun. That's a good one. I don't really have any predictions. I don't know. I guess maybe I'll have more next week when we kind of get more of a feel of what we're looking at here. But I honestly don't know. Rhaenyra I think is extremely interesting. She's clearly tired of kind of women in that era being used as pawns. I think how soon does she like flip and she meets her threshold for like that's enough. I think that's where this is going. I think she's that kind of character. We'll see.
I mean, her face at the end of it, I was kind of like, she just went to stone. So it could be as easy in the second episode that she's gonna flip dives. Because I was like, oh, that face, the stone cold stare. I'm like, damn, she's gone.
She's definitely going to be tested by a lot of the male leaders of houses here. Questioning why is she an heir to the throne. So I think we're going to deep dive into that probably the next few episodes for sure. Caitlin says, I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I hope you had fun.
Thanks,
thanks, Caitlin. All right, that pretty much wraps it up. Is there anything you want to plug or final thoughts?
I'm very excited to do these reviews with you, and hopefully like Lo and Ryan join us next week, and we can get a watch party in. Maybe that'd be really fun. I'm really excited. We have She-Hulk on Thursday, episode 2, guys. That's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna do 7 p.m. Eastern, and then we're back here on Sundays. It's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Man, we've got Lord of the Rings like right around the corner too.
Did you know they're gonna put the first 2 episodes in theaters?
I did not know that. That's really fun.
They just announced it today, so
that's cool.
If you can go, do it, Dives.
Can't wait to see you Thursday. Talking She-Hulk. Again, thank you everyone for watching. Follow us on Twitter at The Suit of Geeks, on Instagram as well. Breaking down all the Game of Thrones content. I'll be having my initial Power Rings video coming out tomorrow or Tuesday for sure. Just my initial top 10 rankings. It's probably not going to be a very good list because we don't have that much information, but I will say Daemon is number 1 so far, at least for me. Really interesting character, and I'm excited to see what is this, Caitlin? She has not seen Lord of the Rings. Come on, Cody says, good evening. What's going on, Cody? Anyway, that pretty much wraps it up. Follow Amanda on Twitter at AMXNDA Reviews. Check out Candid Cinema.
Thank you.
Content over there. Do you need to watch Game of Thrones before? I would, yes. I would.
There's so much.
I wish I could say no, but there's so many references from the premiere, even from the first like minute.
Literally.
There's definitely a knowledge base you should have before jumping into this thing. But I could not recommend it higher. Game of Thrones is minus season 8 is terrific, and I think the premiere of House of the Dragon was awesome, absolutely awesome, blew us away. Me and Amanda are both at 9s. Great premiere, great place to start with this series moving forward. I am so excited. Amanda's so excited. Thank you everyone for watching. For Amanda, for myself, stay awesome.